Why Lineage 2 was the best PvP MMORPGs games ever made, and nothing has came close. Whether you've been participating in this memorable PvP adventure, or you missed it completely, doesn't matter. In this video, I'll show you what made Lineage 2 legendary. Back in the day, it delivered some of the most intense, brutal, and meaningful PvP battles in MMO history, and no other game made feel this PvP personal. And today, I'm taking you through the full history of Lineage 2, Chronicle-by-Chronicle, to show you where it all began. So, make yourself comfortable, because we are diving into the history of two epic chapters, and you don't want to miss a second. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, doesn't matter where you are. Wing is here. So let's dive into the most unforgettable, nostalgic gaming experience we had in our childhood or in late teens, is Lineage 2. Why it was one of the greatest PvP MMORPG games ever made, and what it was so damn special about the history of Lineage 2. Also guys, before diving to the history, make sure to press the like button, subscribe, follow me on Twitch and socials. Lineage 2 was built on Unreal Engine 2.2, and yeah, it was not properly optimized. The lags was common, it was part of experience, but honestly, no one cared. You know why? Because game looked incredible at that time. The world of Lineage 2 was massive, with hundreds of leveling zones, stretching from level 1 all the way to 76. And as your character leveled up, you would venture into new areas, face tougher enemies, and unlock more dangerous challenges. Every new grade meant new gear, new place to farm, and new enemies to conquer. But here's where it got real: spot fights. Players weren't just leveling peacefully, everyone was fighting for grinding spots. Brutal, non-stop PvPs. Clans would clash just to hold one area and secure it for farming. It wasn't just about mobs, it was about control. Apart from farming zones, the hottest spots of the game was fights for raid bosses. You could drop armors, weapons, which was difficult to get at those times. Of course, we are talking about low-rate servers because pure competition was only there. Okay guys, let's go through the history when it all started, Chronicle to Chronicle. And finally, let's begin our journey through the legendary release of Lineage 2. We start at the very beginning, Prelude, which marked the official release of the game on October 1st in 2003. At this point, there were no formal chronicles yet. Those would begin a year later, with Chronicle 1 in 2004. Prelude had no S grade, A grade, or even C grade. Weapon and armor didn't follow the grade systems which we know today. Instead, equipment was simply based on power level, with items like short sword, leather armor, or mithril dagger. The grade system wouldn't be properly introduced until later chronicles, especially Chronicle 1 onward. The level cap was somewhere between level 50, and many core features we now associate with Lineage 2 were still missing. Like there were no castle sieges, no Olympiads, no subclass or hero mechanics yet added. As for farming zones, some of the key areas during Prelude were Kruma Tower and Execution Grounds, which became infamous grinding spots for early players. Let's dive into Chronicle 1, Harbingers of War, which was released in 28th January of 2004. We reached the update that truly laid the foundation for everything that followed. At this stage, there were still no A grade or S grade, items that would arrive much later. But this was the update that officially introduced the D, C and B grade weapon armor systems, adding structure and progression to gear for the very first time. Even more game-changing was the debut of castle siege systems, allowing clans to fight for ownership of castles like Gludio and Dion, setting the stage for large-scale PvP warfare and political drama. Several new zones were added, including the iconic Dragon Valley, expanding the world on its danger zone. And if you wanted to skip farming and go for the big rewards, you had to take down epic raid bosses like Antares, the most powerful boss in the game's history at that time. To kill Antares, you needed massive alliances of 100 players or even more, coordinated and ready for war. It wasn't just a boss fight, it was an event, a legend. The level cap was slightly raised to around 60 to 62, and if you hit that cap, you were considered elite, a true veteran of Aiden. And as for endgame farming, Dragon Valley was the place to be. A dark, deadly zone packed with XP, loot, a constant PvP. It was where the legends were made. Chronicle 2, Age of Splendor, which was released in December 2004 for NA and Europe, marked the first major expansion for Lineage 2. It brought a wave of fresh content, expanding the world and introducing new challenges for both mid and high level players. While A-grade gear had not yet arrived, Chronicle 2 significantly deepened the experience with new regions, features and the legendary boss introductions. The beautiful city of Heine and the surroundings in a drill territory were introduced for the very first time, offering players a lush coastal region to explore. High-level adventurers gained access to the Tower of Insolence, a dangerous multi-floor hunting zone filled with elite monsters and PvP potential. At the very top of Tower of Insolence, a new legend was born, Bayum, another epic raid boss in Lineage 2's history. Killing him required organized clans, alliances, and raid strategy. In order to enter Bayum's room, you have to take down multiple clans and alliances. Defeating Bayum is a significant accomplishment, and players were highly motivated to participate in the raid, leading high entrance rates, intense battles, and loot was game-changing. So every top clan wanted control over it. Bayum was the ultimate PvE target at that time. Chronicle 3, Race of Darkness, which was released in May 2005, was a major turning point in the early history of Lineage 2. This update marked the true beginning of endgame content as we know it, introducing A-grade gear, epic raid bosses, massive shifts in PvP, and client dynamics and progression. Key additions in C3. A-grade was finally introduced for the very first time. Players could obtain A-grade weapons and armors, unlocking a new tier of power and visual design. This was a game changer, giving high-level players, level 61 plus, a clear goal beyond B grade, and raising the bar for competition PvP and PvE. Also, C3 introduced the catacombs and necropolises, the mysterious labyrinth-style dungeons, filled with high-level monsters and mini-raid bosses at the end of each maze. The rewards were worth the challenge: high XP, Adena and Ancient Adena, a new currency used to unseal and upgrade A-grade gear. Old school players will remember those endless, sleepless nights, grinding through the dark tunnels, farming non-stop and chasing power. So finally endgame takes shape. With A-grade gear and biome now fully integrated into the game loop, the focus shifted away from solo grinding in Dragon Valley towards coordinated raids, clan wars and territory controls. Also C3 laid the foundation for everything that followed: path to third class transfer, the Olympiad system, and the large-scale competition ecosystem that would explode in next Chronicles like Chronicle 4 and Chronicle 5. Chronicle 4, Scions of Destiny, was a defining moment in Lineage 2's evolution, a massive game-changing update that laid the groundwork for true endgame content, hardcore PvP, and competition progression. It marked the beginning of a high-level era and pushed the game into a whole new league. So, for the very first time, S-grade equipment was finally introduced. Weapons, armors, and accessories became available for characters level 76 and above. Those powerful items were sealed and had to be unsealed by the blacksmith of Mammon. Owning a full S-grade set became the ultimate gear goal and a symbol of prestige for top-tier players and clans. What made C4 truly groundbreaking? Third class transfer unlocked. This introduced a whole new level of characters, progression and customization, giving players exciting new abilities, playstyles. Also subclass systems were added. Players could transfer to the third profession, opening up an unique skill combinations and strategic depth. Also Grand Olympiads were introduced, a thrilling, intense PvP competition that became the cornerstone of the PvP scene, where the best warriors fought for the glory and prestige. The hero system debuted. Top PvP players earned the prestigious hero titles, gaining unique skills and rewards. New territories revealed. Towns like Rune and Goddard expanded the world and offered fresh hunting and questing zones. Also, one of the hugest changes was that epic raid boss Valakas was added. The Fire Dragon of the Forge of the Gods was introduced. It required a large-scale alliance, 100 players plus, and coordination similar to Antaras. Dropped top-tier loot and decreased the scale of PvP raiding. Chronicle 4 wasn't just an update. It was a revolution, transforming Lineage 2 into the epic PvP and PvE powerhouse that defined its golden age. Next up is Chronicle 5, Oath of Blood, which was released on September 6, 2006 for NA and Europe servers. This update expanded the Forge of Gods and introduced even greater high-level challenges in the wake of Valaka's dominance. Multiple new raid bosses were added across newly opened zones. The level cap was increased from 78 to 80, unlocking powerful new skills for many classes. The update also introduced instant use items, 9 new solo leveling zones, improved HP MP recovery systems, and reward Olympiad system to refine competitive PvP. Additionally, clan levels were improved, unlocking new clan skills and abilities that deepened clan progression and competition. Everything was set before new expansion release, the Chaotic Throne. But the main crown jewel of Chronicle 5 was the return of a nightmare, Frinteza, the Emperor of Death, the Forgotten Symphony, a new epic raid boss and perhaps the most terrifying yet. Now sealed inside Imperial Tomb, his rightful domain. This monstrous tyrant wasn't just another raid. He was a wall, a challenge so brutal, so unforgiving, that entire clans spent months grinding just to survive his minions, let alone reach his throne. Frinteza wasn't a boss. He was a message that Lineage 2 had entered a new era of power, punishment, and prestige. And for a time, the Imperial Tomb became the final destination for every player who dared chase his greatness. Alright guys, this one was a long one and deep one. Honestly guys, I'm not sure you liked such content, so here, help me out. If you want to see part 2, where we all gonna dive into the history of Lineage 2's updates like Interlude, Camel, Gracia Part 1 and 2, Freya, Epilogue, Hi-Fi, and maybe even Goddess of Destruction. So here, let's make it happen. Drop 100 likes, and I would appreciate a lot for subs, and this chapter will be dropped in no time. Also guys, I want to say thanks to all of you for getting those crazy numbers. With only 50 subscribers, I managed to get about 5,000 viewers on my video What Happened to Lineage 2. Also, it's about 200 likes and about 150 comments. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Also, don't forget to drop a like button, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch and socials. I stream almost every week, so there is much more content incoming. Thank you all for watching, so I see you in next chapter. Take care.